Professor Hillier has been a devoted servant of the School of Medicine and Dentistry, active in both the educational and research fields, where she's made distinguished contributions to the development of social policy and community health. She's internationally known for her research on healthcare delivery in China, a subject she's worked upon since starting her PhD. Remarkably, she is a recipient of the Remnin Daxue Diploma in Chinese Language from the People's University, People's Republic of China. She has published extensively on this subject, on the health of ethnic minorities, and on women's health. Professor Hillier is a committed medical educator, playing a pivotal role in the introduction of the 1990 MBBS curriculum and developing the Arts in Medicine Special Study Module Initiative. She remains active in research, working with the Hong Kong School of Public Health on integration policy for Chinese and Western medicine. But like many who are drawn to medicine, Sheila has many other talents. So indeed, there is another side to Sheila. She began writing poetry in 2001 under the direction of the late Julia Casterton. She was commended in 2006 National Poetry Competition for her poem Pollux and Castor Elephants. I know that the French gourmet Briette Savarin once said that with a good anchovy sauce one might eat an elephant, but this poem chronicles the fate of two elephants who were indeed eaten by starving Parisians during the siege of Paris in 1870. In 2009, she won the Hamish Canham Award of the Poetry Society for her poem John Latin of Morristown, described by the judges as a wonderfully rhythmic celebration of reckless bravery. It tells of a young man who dances 20 miles to Dublin with unfortunate results, and I must quote at least some of it. A wager dreamt up on a noisy evening with him back for Paris talking in French, in a Kildare accent calling for oysters, the candlelight there making everything mauve. It goes on. The devil is in me to dance 20 miles from this house to Dublin, new steps every furlong. Larry Grogan, come with me, I'll fiddle you a pipe. And he danced out the door, it was 2 a.m, with a summer moon over the silver-white road. For the work of his heart was more than his years. This fiddle, this dancer, was danced black and blue. He died the next day, not quite 22. Or brave Jackie Latin. Sheila is currently shortlisted for the Forward Prize. Her poems have appeared in Orbis, Ambit, Agenda, Dyslexia, Brittle Star, The Guardian, Nth Position, The Interpreter's House, and in several anthologies. Her first collection, A Chechua Confession Manual, was published in 2010 by Simon Press. For her numerous achievements, coupled with many years of exemplary service to our medical and dental school, Chairman, I ask you to admit Professor Sheila Hillier as an honorary fellow of the college.
Professor Sheila Priestley, I hereby admit you as an honorary fellow of the college.
Vice Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I present Mr. Clive Priestley for an honorary fellowship of the college. Clive Priestley, CB, a distinguished public servant, has made significant contributions to Queen Mary University of London and in particular to our School of Medicine and Dentistry. He has been chairman of the St Bartholomew's Hospital Medical College Trust since 1997, and in that role has overseen a wide range of investments in medicine and dentistry in the school. Clive Priestley was brought up in the East Midlands. He graduated from the University of Nottingham and also subsequently held a Harkness Fellowship at Harvard University. After national service, Mr. Priestley entered the Home Civil Service in 1960, working successively in the Department of Education and Science, the Civil Service Department, and in the Prime Minister's office as Under Secretary and head of the Prime Minister's Efficiency Unit from 1979 to 1983. The Prime Minister of the day was Margaret Thatcher. He subsequently held the post of Divisional Director at British Telecommunications plc. He has carried out a number of consultancy roles for government, for example, undertaking financial scrutiny of the Royal Opera House and Royal Shakespeare Company for the Prime Minister's office, and reviewing the Arts Council of Northern Ireland for the Secretary of State. Mr. Priestley has made a wide contribution to voluntary and charitable work in the arts and education. For example, he was a member of the Council of the Trinity College of Music in London, chairman of the Council for Dance Education and Training, chairman of the London Arts Board, and a governor of the Royal Shakespeare Company. Mr. Priestley has also made significant contributions to our understanding and remembrance of the past. For example, he suggested to St. Paul's Cathedral and organised with the presenter the Millennium Service for London held on the 7th of January 2000. Also notable was his service as Secretary of the Fundraising Committee for the Franco-British Centre at Thiepval in the Somme, which opened in September 2004. Mr. Priestley was made Companion of the Order of the Bath, CB, in 1983. His membership of the Council of St. Bartholomew's Hospital Medical College from 1990 to 1995 led him to serve in a similar capacity on the Council of Queen Mary College. It is particularly in his role as chairman of the St. Bartholomew's Hospital Medical College Trust that we honour him today. And a major development of the Trust site in Charterhouse Square has made possible the establishment of a new heart centre for cardiac research, which is due to open in 2010, and which will make a very significant contribution to the health of the citizens of London and beyond. The Trust has also provided significant support to individual students and to enhancing the student experience more generally. Mr. Priestley has provided leadership of the Trust and demonstrated qualities of perseverance, determination, tact, and generosity. It is a particular personal pleasure for me to be able to present Mr. Priestley today and to welcome his wife Daphne and his two daughters, Alison and Rebecca, to the college. As a fellow trustee, I have learnt much about the forensic skills of a good chairman and count him both a friend and a colleague. Vice Chairman, for his distinguished public service and for his contribution to this college and to our School of Medicine and Dentistry, I ask you to admit Mr. Clive Priestley as an honorary fellow of the college.
Clive Priestley, I hereby admit you as an honorary fellow of the college.
I invite Mr. Priestley to address the Assembly.
Vice Chairman of Council, Acting Principal, Warden and Senior Staff of the Medical and Dental School, Presidents of the Students' Association, ladies and gentlemen, but most important of all, young ladies, young gentlemen. This, as you've heard already, is an occasion for thanks, for congratulations, and for encouragement. I give you, Vice Chairman, and your Council colleagues, the thanks of myself and Professor Hillier for the honour bestowed on us. We thank our spouses, both of us, for supporting our work with the college. Indeed, for my wife, I think it's been a revelation to find out who is Queen Mary, this other woman in my life for so many years. I thank you also, Vice Principal, for the welcome given to her and my daughters. Now, I have no doubt, young ladies, young gentlemen, that you today thank your teachers for the instruction, the help, and the example shown to you during your time at Barts and the London. You young graduands also have cause to thank your parents and families for the love and the backing they have given you throughout your long training. And if I may say so, Vice Chairman, the staff of the school have reason to thank you, their students, for the freshness and stimulation of young minds. All of those who look on today congratulate you, graduands, on your success so far and on your entry to the next stage of your professional and vocational training. We also congratulate your parents, your mothers, not least on their outfits today, and your fathers on the care which has helped bring you to this day. All of us who are outsiders, you might say those of us who are either actual patients or patients in waiting, congratulate ourselves on the fact that people of your ability are joining the medical and dental professions. Lastly, then, a word of encouragement. You will have many joys in your working lives. You will have sorrows too. Not all patients are grateful. Not all colleagues are noble. But you have committed yourselves to a course of life and to a cause which are noble. That is the cause of healing. If you are ever discouraged, and you will be, hold fast to it. Hold fast to the simple knowledge that your patients look to you for healing. And if healing is beyond your science and your skill, then they look to you for comfort. It says over one of the doors at Bart's Hospital, "Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might." Be encouraged then, you graduands. You have chosen a noble cause. You follow in the footsteps of distinguished and faithful older colleagues. We who represent your patients-to-be trust you to serve and believe that you will indeed serve the cause of healing and serve it with all your might. Good luck to you all.
We now come to the conferment of degrees, and I call upon Professor Sir Nicholas Wright, Warden of Barts and the London, to present graduands from the school.
Acting Principal, I call upon Professor Ray Playford, Deputy Warden of the School of Medicine and Dentistry, and Professor Frida Fortune, Dean of the Institute of Dentistry, to assist in the conferment of degrees on graduands for the school. For the Diploma in Higher Education, Dental Hygiene and Dental Therapy, Vivian Adams. Carla Barry Sawyer. Rachel Elizabeth Blackwell. Sushanara Chowdhury. Kathy Faye Assam. Gemma Humphreys. Philippa Mancini. Maria McGrath. Sarah Sheik. Nimni Sultana. Anna Grace Vaughan. Louise Winder. For the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Dimitri Baku. David Ian Barnett. Hannah Batti. With honours and distinctions in Part 2, 3 and 4, Jonathan Brown. With distinction in Part 2, Saba Arshad Butt. With distinction in Part 3, Torao Changela. Lauren Danielle Curtis. Abbas Dala. With honours and distinctions in Part 1, 2, 3 and 5, Mohammed Farouk. Sonia Gill. With distinction in Part 3, Duncan Cameron Prentice Hamilton. Ngo Him Wallace Ho. With honours and distinctions in Part 1, 2 and 3, Craig Anthony Hughes. With honours and distinction in Part 3, Rihan Youssef Janjua. With honours and distinctions in Part 1, 2, 3 and 4, and recipient of the Best in Section A Part 5, the Geoffrey Rose Prize and the Drapers Company Prize, Dilep Karakus. With distinction in Part 2, Fayaz Kohar Faskasim. With honours and distinctions in Part 2 and 3, Hannah Elizabeth Kavanagh. With honours and distinctions in Parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, Farah Nasim Khan. Jack Shun Shi Kwong. With honours and distinctions in Part 1, 2, 3 and 4, and recipient of the Best in Section B Part 5, the Constance Klein Memorial Prize, the CWF Thomas Prize, the British Society Restorative Dentistry Prize, the IDH Prize for Evidence-Based Dental Practice, and the Drapers Company Prize, Eileen Lim. With honours and distinctions of Part 1 and 3, Vishal Jaswant Makadia. Christine Jennifer Mann. With distinction in Part 3, Mitesh Mehta. With honours and distinctions in Parts 2, 3 and 4, Pritesh Mistry. With honours and distinctions in Parts 1, 2 and 3, Zheng Tiang Mong. Kwok Kit Ngan. Himes Panchal. With honours and distinctions in Parts 2 and 3, Anika Patel. With honours and distinctions in Parts 2, 3 and 4, Anishka Patel. Anish Patel. With honours and distinction in Part 3, Minesh Patel. With honours and distinctions in Parts 2, 3, 4 and 5, and recipient of the Evelyn Sprawson Prize, Nikesh Patel. With honours and distinctions in Parts 3 and 4, Priya Patel. With honours and distinction in Part 3, Rahul Patel. Riya Patel. With honours and distinctions in parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, and recipient of the IDH Prize for Evidence-Based Dental Practice, Samir Manhandrakumar Patel. With distinction in part 5, Anika Roda. With distinction in part 3, Tiffany Ross. With honours and distinctions in parts 1, 2, 3 and 5, Nicola Jane Rowley. Sagar Ratish Ruparelia. With distinction in part 3, Avni M. Samani. Arsan Sarvastani. With honours and distinctions in parts 1, 2, 3 and 5, Ramona Seth. Neil Shah. Nia Shah. With honours and distinctions in parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, Pooja Shah. With honours and distinctions in parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, Zain Shamoon. Gautam Sharma. With honours and distinctions in parts 2 and 3, Mataza Siddiqui. With honours and distinctions in parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, Judith Steinhoff. With honours and distinctions in parts 2, 3 and 5, Deepak Sumal. Moverid Tardeon. Elena Taliotti. Leo Chi Hin Tam. With honours and distinctions in part 1, Kosar Torfik. Timothy Dinash Thivaraja. With honours and distinctions in parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, Divya Verma. Paul Matthew Wong. Ronnie Youssef Zade Bindra. That concludes the presentation of graduands for the Institute of Dentistry. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Maya Van Arba Alingam. Ahmed Arba. Nawazish Ali Ahmed. With first class honours, Esther Niroji Amarasingam. Amit Anand. Donna Aria. Parizad Avari. With first class honours, Akif Barlas.